The first thing that we need to do when we are going to work with dogs is sync your heart with the dog. What that means, it's like grooming your dog, it's like dancing a tango. You both have to move together. You want to be sure that it's a dance and it's not a wrestling match. So when you put your hands on the sides of the dog, and when you feel their heart, they feel yours. So it's the best way to get them into that "it's going to be okay" mood. Remember, grooming is pretty much the first step on shelter dogs on their journey to find their forever homes. So it is important that the first step, it leaves a good impression. Is that "it's going to be okay" moment. Before start baiting the dog, it is the perfect time to check around and see where is he sensitive about. Are his paws sensitive? You will know when you start checking to see if the nails are long and just touching them. Always, it's like a massage. You start and then you lead them into position. Again, it's a dance. If you pull the dog into position, he's going to pull it right back. If you lead the dog into position, in this case, she is much more comfortable letting you work with her paws. Before washing the dog is the perfect time to see how is the dog's temperament. If he's going to, get like the little scratch and so forth. Hey. Dog ears should be always checked before the bath because we really can see what's going on before we wash it. So always look and smell. It's a dog's life. The inside of the ear should be basically the same color that the rest of their skin. If it looks like an angry man, that is a sign of infection. You always want to clean the ears before and after the bath. The best and safest way is pour some ear cleaner on a cotton ball and then placing it inside the ear without a lot of pressure. Pull the ear flap down and do a little massage so the cotton ball and the ear solution are going to remove all the nasty stuff in there. The reason why you clean the ear before and after the bath is first because you want to be sure that you remove as much of the dirt and debris and the wax before, and after because the ear solution will change the pH of the humidity left behind and prevent bacteria to grow. It is important to brush the dog before the bath too because that will help to loosen up, to remove the hair that is you don't need to wash, and then to loosen up the mats and let the shampoo really walk in there. Let's talk a little bit about brushes. Dogs have different coats, and for every coat is a different brush. You have pink brushes, you have a bristle brush, or you have the pretty much 1 feet all slicker brush. Remember, when we use the brush, it is an extension of your arm and your hand. So the best way is to hold it lightly, and with this way you will feel the outline of the dog. You're not scratching it. If you hold the grooming tools in general too hard, you lose sensitivity. When you hold it gently but firmly, that is what is give you sense through it and becomes an extension of your hand. This way you know when you too close to the skin. Brushing your dog is the best way for early detection of most health issues. Their coat is the window to their health. So everything you can see, and when you brush the dog properly, you will have actually visual contact with every inch of their skin. You can find a scratch, a bump, an allergic reaction, an ingrown nail, a hot spot, all that, but just brushing your dog properly. When you find it early, that means much cheaper vet bills, easy to take care of that, and a happier dog. When you're using a slicker brush, the best way to brush a dog is called line brushing. That means that with one hand you lift the hair, and with the brush you pull down line by line of hair. This way you only go once, reducing the chances of scratching the skin. The best way to find out what is the right brush for your dog is ask a professional at the pet store or at the grooming salon. Everybody wants you to take good care of the dog, so everybody's going to help you. For long and flowing hair, a pin brush is a good option. If you have dogs with shorter hair and undercoat, a slicker brush is a good option. But every dog has its own needs. So it's good to do a little research to save money and make your job easier. And now it's time for the bath. One tip, have everything ready before you get into the tub, either at home or at the salon. Because when you have a wet dog, it's not time for multitasking. So let's get busy with everything we need. Using a noose or even a leash is a good way to keep the dog safe inside the tub. We enjoy hot showers, but dogs, they prefer it like lukewarm. Their skin is very sensitive to the heat, so you want to be sure that the water is just warm. Start by getting the dog wet on their back so they get used to the temperature and the sound of the water. One hand should always be touching the dog to comfort him. As you can see, the face is the last part of the dog that we're going to wash and the first part that we're going to rinse. That way, we're going to minimize the time that the shampoo is sitting on their head and it could get into their eyes. The use of brushes, little brushes are a great tool to really clean their paws. When working with shelter dogs, remember that the dog is just start to trust you but don't know you, so we want to be sure that we make them feel comfortable. They will shake because they are on a new situation, so it doesn't really mean they're scared. They're just wondering what's going on. When washing the face, it is important to keep it tilt up a little bit so the water won't get on their nose. For nervous or older dogs, putting a non-slippery surface inside the tub will help them to feel secure because they are not going to feel that they're slippery around. Okay, now let me grab a towel to... And now it's time for the burrito wrap. The safest way to take a dog out of the tub is wrapping it on the towel. This way, it's no chance of them running away or be slippery. This is what I call the burrito wrap. There you go. When drying a dog, it is very important to remember that their skin is very sensitive, so you have to use the lowest temperature possible. Remember, never point the dryer directly into their eyes. When it's time to comb the hair on their face, remember always to point the tools out. What I mean is we're going from the corner of the eye to outside, always away from the eyes. This way, if the dog suddenly looks some other directions or jump, you're not going to hurt him. Dogs only sweat through their tongue and through their paws. So it is very important that we check their pads and be sure they are clear of debris or gum or anything that they could pick up. A small cordless clipper is perfect when to trim the hair around the pads because it's very quiet, so it won't get the dog kind of worried. When using the clipper, it's very important that we keep the blade parallel to the skin. We don't dig in, we always flush it. This way we're going to avoid the edge of the blades to scratch the skin. And there you have it. Nice clean pad that he can go out and run around without worry of getting stuff in it. This is probably not the groomer's highlight, neither the dog. Let's talk about shaving privates. When it's time to shave the dog private areas, it's very important to know exactly where it is. So first take a good look, and with a cordless clipper or a quiet clipper, then you will go and shave the hair, never pointing in, always from the center of their butt to the sides. I told you it wasn't going to be the highlight of the day, but somebody has to do it. When using the clipper, be sure always to have a good grip, but with a soft touch. This way, you can feel the body of the dog, the outline, and prevent any accidents. When clipping their privates, it is important to take a minute and be sure that you have a very good visual, because it's a lot of folds and sensitive skin that you want to be aware of. Are you ready for the money shot? To shave the dog's stomach, it is important that we go on the direction that the hair grows, just to avoid any irritations. So here we have this little Yorkie, and we're going to give him a little more traditional little Yorkie ears. Using the clipper, we're going to lay the ear flap on our hand to be sure that we're not nip on the edges. We're going to the other one. We use our fingers just to guide it. When we trim around the ears, it's always very important that we use our fingers as a guide. to avoid cutting any skin. So I have my finger lined up with the edge of the ear, and then I can go with the scissors. There we go, we're going to the other side. I place my finger over the edge to use as a guide, and there we have. Remember to take good pictures of your dog. It is very important that we can see their eyes. So let's groom around the eyes to take away all the hair. Using thinning shears is one of the safest ways to trim the hair around the eyes. Again, with one hand, we hold and secure the dog. We pull up the hair that we want to cut. And with the thinning shear, never pointing to the eyes, always pointing out, we slowly press them. Now we're going to cut their bangs. We comb the hair forward, and then again with the thinning shear, we pointing out, we're going from the outside corner of the eye, pointing to the nose. That will give us a good and easy angle. If it is a lot of hair on top of the head, the easier way to thin it out is with the comb. We comb it up, and with the thinning shear, we trim the edges. We comb it up, and we trim a little bit. You will have to go over a few times to be sure that every hair it is in place. A good technique. We grab the ear flap and we trim, protecting with our fingers, we trim what is sticking out. Now it's time to clip the nails. We need to know a little bit about the anatomy of the nail. The dog nails had a little vein running inside that is called the quid. As longer as the nail grows, the little vein is going to grow too. So we cannot cut a long nail very short at once because it's gonna bleed. We need to cut a little bit at the time. On dogs with dark nails, you want to look underneath the nail and see where the shallow part is. That is a safe point to trim them. When I met this puppy this morning, he was very dirty, pretty scruffy. When we're showing a positive picture of a dog, that's the dog that you want to take home. That is the dog that it is waiting right now for you. So a positive picture, it will show them the happy dog that they can have at home. When a family is walking around the shelter looking to add a family member, a well-groomed dog is going to call attention. It's going to show them a little bit more of the success story. And, a fabulous dog, it deserves a fabulous home. So here we have him. He is ready for a clean start on his journey to find his forever home, right?